Greetings, everybody! Good morning out there in Piptown across the world. How's everybody doing today? We've got a little bit of a new setup here. I've been trying out some new microphones, I've been trying out some new webcams, and most importantly, per Cosmic's suggestion, I went ahead and downloaded the native Windows application version of LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed, rather than using BlueStacks, which is what I had been doing before. So, you guys will have to let me know if the stream seems any smoother or less smooth than normal today. Per me using this new native application, I have a feeling that it might actually be a little bit better, or at least that is my hope. Now there's still a couple settings that I need to figure out. My Streamlabs has a hard time actually capturing the native Windows program, so we're using a full display capture instead of a window capture or a game capture. So there are going to be things throughout, like if I have to change windows, you will actually be seeing me change windows. Aside from that, things like if I tab over to another application, the sound might cut out for just a second because it's only set to actually send the sound to the sound card when this application is in focus. So there's a whole bunch of things that I have to figure out about it, but in general, I started playing with the application yesterday. I think it runs a lot smoother than trying to run this application through BlueStacks, which honestly should come as no surprise because this version is actually built for Windows rather than running an emulator. But yeah, that's what we got going on here. So if there are slight differences, they are probably coming from that point of view. You have to let me know what you think. So I'm going to make sure that I have my streaming window up on my laptop over here and that I can see my game over here. I can see you guys chit-chatting. Theo, hello guys. How are we doing today? Let's go ahead and get into it. As per usual, I started this morning waking up early and grabbing a bit of Jester Go-Go tileage because I was full on energy, and when your energy is full, you gotta use that stuff. You'll notice I have 2 million coins. I am currently holding on to them because in 4 days of play, I am going to have my red beard ready to 7-star. So I want to make sure that I have at least 1.5 million coins ready the instant I can level him up. So I've been doing that. Also, you can see I have lots of other characters that are ready to level up. I am, of course, not going to be leveling them up quite yet because I need to save that cash. Theo says, looking forward to some Q&A action today. How are you? How am I? Honestly, man, I'm tired. It has been a long week. It's only Thursday. Later today, we're actually heading out to my fiance's parents' house. It's her dad's birthday this weekend. So we're going to be spending some time with them. They have a nice, relaxing house out in the woods. So it's always a treat to get to go out there and visit with them for a little bit. I am very much looking forward to getting out of the city for about a week. We've also got a concert coming up that we've been preparing for. My fiance and I both sing. So we've been quite busy, actually, preparing for all that stuff. For those of you who know, because I've mentioned it before, my fiance is actually a fitness instructor, and the gyms around the city are on the verge of opening up again. Sort of depends on whose permission they get and when. So we've had a lot of reorganizational stuff going on over this week, in addition to my normal job and just trying to hold down the fort there and make sure that I am delivering what I'm supposed to deliver without upsetting too many people in the process. So yeah, we've been busy, dude. Very busy, but good. Busy good. Other than that, just trying to look forward to this Q&A. I will be very interested to see, one, what the questions are, to be completely honest with you, because I have found that the majority of these Q&As in the past start off really on point, and within about 10 or 15 minutes, the questions that people are asking are just bananas, right? And I can't possibly be the only person who feels that way. It's sort of my general mantra that if you've ever had a particular thought, someone else has probably had that thought too. You might be unique, but none of us are that unique. You know what I mean? So I'll be very interested to see what the questions are that people ask. I'll be very interested to see what people actually want to know about the space update before the space update goes live. And I know I brought this up yesterday, but some of this information is very, very useful to us ahead of time. And some of this information is completely irrelevant for us to find out ahead of time, especially depending on how far ahead of time is, right? So if, for example, they are going to release the space update next week and you have not been farming space characters, I fall into that category, then them informing you that you should have been farming your space characters this entire time does you no good, because you're already behind on it. So what's the point, right? So what would be the point in asking, oh, am I going to need all of these space characters for raids? Or is there going to be a new space meta or something like that? If you have been farming your characters and the answer to that question is yes, then you're going to be very happy. If you've been farming your space characters and the answer is no, then you're going to be extremely disappointed. If you have not been farming space characters and the answer to that question is yes, then you're going to be disappointed. And if the answer to that question is no and you have not been farming space characters, then you're going to be very happy that you haven't been wasting your time. No matter which outcome, though, it won't change whether or not you've already been farming your space characters. You know what I mean? So I'll be very, very interested to see which questions people ask, which things people decide are important. To be honest with you, this particular update, this particular Q&A session, I think is going to be filled with information that's relatively irrelevant because we'll find out about it all next week. Now, the reason why I say that, though, is because of the questions that I assume people are actually going to be asking. And I would love to have people start asking questions about the space update in terms of its relation to future updates. What can we expect in the future? And how does this space update compare? So when they say things like, you know, what are the space characters going to be useful for? I go, well, you're either already getting them or you're not. So I would rather see people ask questions along the lines of, how is this space update going to be reflective of the way that you will be making updates in the future? What are we going to see, or what can we expect from your decision-making process that will inform us going forward what we can expect from updates? For example, if I decide I really like the Imperial Legos because I have an affinity for the Imperial Legos, regardless of the fact that they're terrible in this game or unavailable or whatever, then I'd be more interested to know, am I wasting my time farming the Imperials in here? Or is your space update indicative of the fact that you're constantly looking at which teams are the weakest and figuring out ways to make them useful in the game in one way or another, thus making it valuable for me to farm my Imperials now, even if I have to wait before they become powerful? Questions along those lines, maybe a little bit more thought-provoking questions. We'll see what people have to say. Tio, I think that the Q&A is going to be fine. I hope they're going to say that we get 2 new space characters, Quincy and Jen Slate. Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday. I have a feeling that they will probably... I have a feeling that if we ask them specifically about whether or not certain characters are going to become available, that they will say, oh, you'll just have to wait and see. They might answer questions like, we are going to bring in a new space character, but we're not going to tell you who it is. That would be something that I might expect from them. But specifically answering questions about whether or not a specific character is going to start appearing in the game, I would bet that they're going to beat around the bush on that one, as it were. Theo, I have at least been farming Reed since they said he would be getting some teammates. Other space figures, not so much. Yeah, Theo, A lot of people actually kind of like Spaceman Reed. He's relatively quick, which obviously people like. And he hits pretty hard, which people like. He can stun, which is a very, very important trait for a very, very powerful debuff, I should say, for the characters in this game. So there are a lot of people that actually have their Spaceman Reed. He's also very easy to farm, and it's hard to overstate the importance of ease of farmability, as it were, right? My Reed, I have a lot of tiles for my Reed. I haven't actually leveled him up, but I have been farming him for tiles for a long time. So I think I have enough tiles to get him to around 4 stars, maybe even 5. I don't know if I have quite enough tiles for 5, but I definitely have enough tiles, I think, to get him up to about 4 stars. And, you know, just sort of sitting on him at the moment, seeing if anything fun happens with him. EMZ, they also said they won't be reworking Reed or Locust. I hope that the teammates amplify their abilities. 7-star Reed, Locust, Kelvin, love space. Yeah, EMZ, I'm actually with you there. I really, really like the space teams as well, or rather the space sets. I've always been a fan of outer space. I think it's outer space, man. How do you not like outer space? Outer space is cool and fun. And especially for people who like Legos, right? We want to put things together. We like to, as a group, we relish the opportunity to, you know, build. That's what we do. And space is like the final building frontier, as it were. You know what I mean? We know what buildings and bridges and things like that look like. How do you not like space? Of course, bridges are also pretty impressive. I don't know. If you haven't watched a good Netflix documentary about building bridges, do yourself a favor, because bridges are pretty awesome when you really look at it. I had no idea! And now I'm just rambling while I try to get through this 300,000 coin challenge. Oh my, this is a tough one. You may have noticed that I already completed it once today. I have been trying so many different strategies to try to finish this one out. It is, it's a toughie. It's a big, big toughie. Tio has you have a level 50 space team? What's up, Weird? Nice to meet you, man. Nice to see ya. Are you actually weird? Or do you just enjoy that as your name? Either way, you're welcome here. We're all a little bit strange, I think. So you're in good hands. Can I please stun Garmadon? Thank you. Garmadon has been stunned. Everybody is stealth. That's good. That gives me an extra opportunity to target him. Ooh, I don't need to. He blew himself up from all my time bombs. Oh, yes. I might actually be able to finish this one. I would love that. I finished it once today, but it is fairly common that it trounces ma-trounce, if you will. Yeah, I'm weird in real life too. Good for you, dude. I appreciate it. Tio, do you have a full 5-character space team that are all level 50? Because if so, that's a lot of dedication to the team. And more importantly, did you have them before? Or did you start farming them once they announced that they were going to be updating the team? That is the real question. Have you actually been spending your time trying to farm them, huh? Yes. Give me a little bit more context than the yes. I talk so much that by the time I see that you've typed yes, I'm not actually sure which question you've answered affirmatively. Okay, for those of you who are actually doing this challenge, this level of Peg Legs challenge, there are some things to point out here. One, this is a lot easier if you have a 6-star Scarlet or a 6-star Valiant, right? And if so, you would swap him out for little Private LeQuay that I've got going on down here. Now, Private LeQuay is a lot easier to farm. And as you have just saw, it is possible to complete this node with Private LeQuay as your 5th character. However, it is hard. and you will lose a lot before you succeed. Now, strategy-wise, if you have this particular pirate team, you have a lot of options here. But you're always pretty much going to want to start by taking out Kai, because Kai does a lot of damage. Additionally, Kai will counter almost every single time that Naya takes damage. Now, Naya can also stealth, and they have this skeleton healer. There are a lot of heals on this particular board. There always are. So one of the difficulties that you're going to run into is mitigating all of those heals. I have found that the most effective way to complete this is actually to try to get everybody as low as you possibly can, but not necessarily kill everyone, especially in this first round, because you're going to want to let a lot of these time bombs do their damage. So for example, Naya has 3 time bombs. Looks like they're all about to go off. It's going to be a significant amount of damage. We have Zane, who's got 2 turns before his time bombs go off, and 2 turns before the skeleton healer's time bombs go off. We have Naya in stealth for another 2 turns. So we know that the next part of this, Lloyd is going to come in. The first thing he's going to do is stealth everyone. So then we've got a lot of choices to make here, because as soon as they get down to only having 1 character left, the next section of people is going to come in. So, what to do here? I think I'm actually going to save my AoE cannon for another round. Let Naya heal. I've got a decent handle on everybody's health at the moment, but I really want to wait. I really want to have some time go by to see if I can get Naya out of that stealth. But it looks like, don't know if it's going to happen right away. Ooh, we got kind of lucky with that one, that the skeleton healer didn't die. Problem is, now he's gonna die on his next turn, which is about to come up, followed by, ooh, it looks like it's gonna be followed by Argenta and then Naya. That's actually going to be a problem. I'll show you why. So, skeleton healer goes down, and now, no matter what we do, it looks like we're gonna lose Zane and have Naya for another round, and she is going to be popped back into stealth by Lloyd. Now the trick to this one is you're going to really want to get that highwayman down as fast as you can and first, because they're going to start summoning Garmadon, etc. And once they do that, you are in trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands, you guessed it, for pool. I don't know how many of you are musical theater people. If you're not a musical theater person, that reference just went whoosh. But otherwise, it's from The Music Man. It's a nice Meredith Wilson musical from way back when with Robert Preston. It's good stuff if you've never seen it. Unless you're not into musicals, in which case it would bore you to tears. Okay, Highwayman is gone. This is great. Now, if we can manage to get one of these Nayas out of the picture, that would be glorious. So, we're going to use Pegleg's ultimate on this Naya that has critical damage up. We really want to be able to see if we can pull, of course, Peglegs. Walk the plank. Missed, because why wouldn't it? Alright. If we can keep Naya from actually dealing damage and causing her to heal instead, that would be great. Ooh, we killed her. That was actually a bit of an accident. And it's one turn before we got to put the heal on Redbeard. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. Now you get to watch as Garmadon is just going to, one at a time, stomp every single character in a single hit. Oh, we were so close. We were doing so well. And then Garmadon showed up and ruined it for everyone. Fie on you, Garmadon. You are a butt, sir. You are a butt. Can we get Master Wu down? This is going to be tough. Our damage is starting to get super low. And all of the dodges certainly don't help. Gameloft, get rid of dodge. Get rid of dodge. Hey guys, remember that time that I enjoyed the dodge mechanic? No, you don't. You don't remember that time because that time has never ever existed. Remember that time that anyone thought the dodge mechanic was fun? No, no you don't, because it never ever existed. That's why. Come on, Gameloft. All right, I've got one opportunity remaining here. I'm gonna unfortunately have to try it later because we gotta get into the Brickspedition today, folks. We gotta see what's going down in Brickspedition Town. Alrighty. What's going on over here, guys? Let me check in with y'all really fast. What's up, Redbeard's parrot? How you doing, man? Feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Jen Slate has an ult. Wait, what? How do you know that? Or are you just saying you hope so? We'll have you know, all exams have been passed. Congratulations, dude. So what is next for you now that you've passed all of your exams? Or is it just that you're gonna spend, you know, a good solid number of days just partying and pretending like you have no responsibilities for a minute? And if so, good on you, sir. Congratulations. That's great. COVID semester was good. Made 65 out of 210 credits in one semester. And now you're looking for internships. What do you actually do, Redbeard? What are you looking for internships doing? Oof, I stopped paying attention there for a minute. I'm glad that that one actually finished so easily. So, you'll notice that we are basically going to auto battle a lot of these. But not full auto battle. I am going to continue to steer the battle. I'll just put it on auto mode and then be selecting which targets I think are the most dangerous and need to get hammered down first. Redbeard, unless Aurora is on the team or it's a Magisto heal counter team, Redbeard's pretty much always going to be the focus of our attacks. Not necessarily because he does the most damage, but because his ability to lock people out, that disarm, is just killer. And easy though these early battles may be, we just want to make sure that we have that heal ready to go at the end of a battle, and that our hiker is not just locked out, you know? Because we want to make sure to keep everybody nice and topped off. Enter in all the battles as high as we possibly can be. Supply chain management. I will admit, Redbeard, I know very little about supply chain management. I mean, I know what it means, but what would you do as your ideal profession? And be more specific than I would be a supply chain manager. Where would you work? You know, what kind of a place? What would you want to be in charge of? It's true, I posted on the ME Guild in Discord. Alright, Tio, I'll have to go and check that out. I think that it will actually be pretty unfortunate if Space gets another ultimate. Unless they're just going to start putting ultimates on literally every character in the game. Otherwise, they're going to run into a problem where every single time they remake a set of characters, they end up making every other character in the game obsolete, right? That whole power creep situation that a lot of people complain about in a lot of these types of games. Well, in every game, to be completely honest with you. RPGs, when they get their expansions and the power creep that happens there, all of it. So, as much fun as it is to use ultimate abilities, adding more ultimate abilities onto the space team, I think is a bad idea. But who knows? I could be very wrong. And maybe the space team will be great and not 100% required meta. I don't know. We'll find out. There was a data mine a few months back that had his kit in it, and Slate has an ultimate according to that, but that was a long time ago. Planning and running fulfillment centers for logistics companies. Like to go more into the sustainable direction. Ah, interesting. So sustainable energy, sustainable food resources, sustainable water, housing, any particular area? Or are you just like, as long as it's sustainable, it's good for me? Also keep in mind, since there are reworks, etc., it could have changed. Yeah, I think the question of will this new character have an ultimate? Tio, I know you're very, very excited about this, and I think that that's great. Unfortunately, I think that that falls under the umbrella of if you do get that information today, what difference does it make? Because if the character's not even available for another couple of weeks, well, then you can't be prepping and farming for it unless you're just holding on to all of your upgrade resources until you find out whether or not the character is worth getting and upgrading. But you could just do that anyway. So I don't know. That falls, yeah, like I said, that falls under the category to me of, well, just wait and see when the character comes out. Because if they tell you she does have an ultimate, or if they tell you the character does have an ultimate and you're like, cool! You know what I mean? Or if they're like, oh, nope, she doesn't have an ultimate, then you're like, ah. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do anything different based on that information. What do you want from the space update? So, I think that the most useful thing that we could get from the space update would actually be a roadmap of the space characters to come. And I know that that's kind of a lackluster thing. It doesn't have anything bright and shiny attached to it. But if you look at the space team and their current lack of synergy, it kind of makes sense. Because Blacktron Dave is a Blacktron character, and Spaceman Reed is a classic space character. And then you've got the alien characters, and then you've got the chill characters. They all are technically space. And it would be nice if, because they are technically space, that they did have some sort of space synergy. Absolutely, that would be great. That would be nice. But I'd be more excited to see if they're going to actually be building out the rest of the space intellectual property. I'd be more interested to find out, are we going to be getting more Blacktron characters to build out a full 5-person Blacktron team? Or 4 more classic space characters so that we can build out a classic space team? And those kinds of things. That's much more interesting to me than what abilities is this person going to have when they come out. Because I go, well, I'll just see when the character comes out. It doesn't make a difference to me right now. So that's the kind of thing that I would be looking for from the Q&A. I would also be looking for information about how this particular update is going to be reflective of the way they plan to do updates in the future. If they have changed the way that they look at making character updates in order to account for certain things, account for meta shifts and power shifts in order to say like, okay, well, when we do see the final outcome of this space update, is it going to be reflective of updates in the future? Or does this space update kind of stand alone? That's the kind of information that I would be interested in right now. I would love to get more classic space characters in the game. I mean, I think the Blacktron characters, the classic space characters, and the chill characters, the chill characters in particular, that was one of the first sets that I really got into and had all of that blue, orange, and white set building material. The first time I think my parents ever started buying these sets that cost more than like $30 at a whack was the chill sets. That I came up with that, so that one is a bit that one has more nostalgia for me than any of the other ones. So I would be hoping for that one. That and, well, actually that and Aquanauts were kind of the same. So I'd be interested to see eventually, excuse me, sorry, if they put the Aquanauts in the game. I would be looking forward to that as well. But that's not information that would be particularly relevant during a Q&A session about the space. Well, aquanauts wouldn't be, I suppose, because aquanauts are, well, water, not space, right? But I digress. Yeah, I'd be very excited for those in the future. I think that'd be awesome. What day are we on for Brixpedition? Is this day 5? I'm getting through this, like, pretty easy for day 5 compared to the way it normally is. Of course, knock on wood, now that I say that, I'm probably going to get rocked. All right, we've got a choice here. Oh, no, we have no choice. We need to get up so we can get this fire station tile. Gonna grab another highwayman. Put a bit more damage out there on this bird. Okay, I think we may actually have enough time before Jester goes to try and take out, yep, Nighty Night Redis Beardus. Now, the question is Gogo going to do... I think Gogo's first is he does his damage ability before he does his taunt. Woof! Got a little close there, Cook Bart. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? I'm gonna make sure that you don't die, I think. That'd be very nice. Now, I believe Darwin is going to be the biggest hitter left on their team, which isn't really saying much, but we're gonna go ahead and take him out. I'm gonna heal with the hiker just to keep him nice and topped up and get the cooldown process started a little bit earlier. Okay. Put some Lucy on him. Get him some dots. And now we are just hammering away at Jester Gogo. So much health has Jester Gogo, but no defense. None whatsoever. I think he has the lowest defense in the game, does he not? And now, we'll take out Cook Bart with Walk the Plank, unless he dodges, which would be super unfortunate. But he doesn't. He's down. Moving right along. So, we're coming up to this fire station node. Level 54, spooky-ish castle team. Oh, but there's no Willa. Without Willa, this whole thing just falls apart. If you were to replace Verda with Willa on this team, that might actually be something pretty powerful and scary to fight against. But they didn't, so... How do you feel about the future of the game with raids? EMZ. I feel like raids need to happen very quickly. In fact, I would have said that raids were more important than a space update, to be completely honest. The most common frustration that I have heard in the community, and there are a lot of frustrations, so please understand, I am not trying to discount any of them. But the most common one that I seem to hear is that there is a significant lack of content in the game. And by content, it's things for people to do, right? Not characters for people to use. So I would have argued that I think raids are more important than updating characters at this point, because we just need more things for people to do. Guilds are virtually useless right now. I mean, yeah, you get to use your guild allies, but other than that, you don't actually do anything with your guild. There's no point in communicating with them. You can't trade. You can't trade tiles. You can't ask for tiles. You can't trade gear. You can't actually do anything with your guild. So if they want to increase the community within the game, I think that raids requiring guilds to organize and work together to accomplish a goal would have been much more important than updating the space team. I think that they have so many examples to pull from. I mean, even if you were to only look at Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes as a place to go, well, maybe we should do it like this. they've already got 4 or 5 completely different styles of raids. And then if you pull in Marvel Strike Force with their whole web mechanic to do raids that way, where someone in your guild has to go this way and someone in your guild has to go this way to complete them all, there's a lot that they could have done, and a lot that would have done to actually pull some camaraderie into the game, pull some community into the game that the game was lacking. So I think they should have actually started there. I am pretty optimistic that they will introduce a raid that is fun. There's no doubt in my mind that the community will complain about it when it gets put in, because they'll say, oh, you did it this way, well, we wanted it this way. And I think that's virtually unavoidable at this point, unfortunately. That the community has gotten a bit trolly and a bit negative. To be fair, the devs have done a fair amount to kind of ensure that that happens. They listen relatively poorly by most people's opinion. So it has been a struggle, and I see that. But I have a feeling that with raids, they'll do a decent job. I'm looking forward to them, and I feel like people, like I said, people are going to complain anyway, unfortunately. But I feel like they'll be all right. Oh, goodness. What am I doing here? I think just trying to lock you out of healing? Yeah? Okay, great. We did it. I hope I can eventually run... how do I feel about the future of raids? It'd be pretty spooky to deal with. I realize, EMZ, that is that I missed that comment when it was relevant because I was too busy focusing on this, but I hear you. Oh no! They healed Redbeard right above... Oh no, they killed my Redbeard! Get out of here, folks! Now I gotta do this one again. Bam, bam, bam. We'll pull in another Scarlet Ally to get it done. Can I see myself quitting the game in the near future, or will I stick it out through the next round of updates after Space and Raids? It's a difficult question to answer. I can only try to answer that based on my previous experience with other games and when I have quit those. So, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes was probably the first game of this type that I really got into. And I ended up quitting that one after they added ships into the game, actually. And the reason why I quit was because they actually had added too much content in too many different areas that were all kind of disjointed, and then basically tried to force you to put it all together. Hold on a second. I'm having a very hard time describing my thoughts right now. Right, okay. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I played religiously until they released ships. And once they released ships, it became clear to me that the game had started to morph into something different than what I was looking for. So now instead of playing one gacha game, I had to play 2 completely different gacha games at the same time. I didn't want to play 2 different gacha games, I wanted to play 1. But now if I wanted to be competitive, I didn't have a choice. I had to play both of them. It was way too much, in my opinion, for them to add into the system. And I said, no. I can't keep track of this, I'm out. The next one that I really, really got into was, I think, Marvel Strike Force. I started to get into Age of Magic for a little while. And that one, I thought, because it was kind of at the same time as Star Wars, I thought, well, if I'm gonna play this, I might as well play Star Wars, especially since I've already put so much time into Star Wars. So Age of Magic never took off for me, even though, honestly, it's probably better. But, starting to get into Marvel Strike Force, I also was starting to get... mean, there's no really other way to say this, but become a bit more adult. And so my ability to spend money on these games was becoming more of a reality. And Marvel Strike Force, I stopped playing when I realized more about their profit, more about their model for profitability. And it got to the point where I went, well, wait a minute. Now they're making it so that you have to have these characters in order to progress in the content that they're releasing, and they're forcing you to pay money for these characters at the same time. And I went, oh, no. I've always thought that these games are more expensive than they should be, but even in the Lego game right now, I mean, unless you want to be number one in the arena, you don't have to spend your money. You can if you want all the Ghostbusters, and that's insane because to get all the Ghostbusters up to a viable level, you have to spend like $400 or $500, which is absolutely ludicrous. But if you don't get the Ghostbusters, you can still play everything. You can still do it. It's fine. You have that option. But Marvel Strike Force started to become something different, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. If I want to keep playing this game, I have to spend money. And not only do I have to spend money, I have to spend a lot of money often in order to keep going. And I was like, no. I'll spend a little bit of money, right? You are providing me with entertainment. There is value there. There is monetary value there. I am willing to give you money for you to provide me with entertainment. But the amount of money that you're now requiring that I give you in order to make this work, sorry, but you've gone too far and I'm out, and had to give up on that one. So it's not just about updates, raids, and all that kind of jazz. It's also about the feeling that I get from the developers. Oh, really? He dodged? Come on. It's also about the feeling that I get from the developers and what I feel like their goal, their main goal has become. The way that they change the game in order to promote or not, depending on my personal viewpoint, a healthy environment in which people can play, share ideas, have fun. So I don't actually have any plans to leave LEGO Legacy. I certainly don't have any plans to leave based on how much it currently costs to play, because despite the fact that I think all of the prices in this game are absolutely bananas high, the game is still set up in a way that I don't have to get them if I don't want to. But if that changes, yeah. I mean, if that changes, there's nothing for me anymore. If that changes, it's just like, if I were going to spend money just for the sake of spending money, I'd go like buy more clothes or something. You know, I'd upgrade my computer more. I'd eat fancier food. I don't need to, there's plenty of ways that I can spend money and get something out of it. And this is digital, right? No matter what you do in this game, your money is going towards zeros and ones that you're actually never going to see. So if you delete the game, any money that you spend on the game is essentially lost. At least if you're spending money collecting baseball cards, well, you have the baseball card. You could trade it to someone if you wanted to, right? That's a lot of the comparisons that people often make, and then they forget. Well, when you spend money on real things, if you then decide to stop spending money on those things, you still have the ones you already purchased. Digital games, not the case. You are paying for entertainment, and that's it. So if you're not comfortable with that, then you shouldn't do it in the first place. Woof! I went way off topic on that answer, but I have a feeling you guys have come to expect that from me. EMZ, I haven't spent more than $50. I'm in the top 10 in one of the earliest shards with Space Pirates. Cool. Totally understand where you're at with quitting these games. I hope LEGO Legacy doesn't go that route. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm very, very excited about the LEGO Legacy intellectual property. And I don't necessarily know this. how to say this without getting into trouble, because I know that there might be people from my actual job that watch my stream now because they found out about it recently. But I work for a company right now that is pretty into making a profit above. They put profit above a lot of other things, in a way that I think is unhealthy. I think that's a safe way to say it. And I really don't also want to feel that in my entertainment, which is why I harp on it so bad, and why it hits me so hard when I see it starting to happen, if that makes sense. I play this game for fun, and I want it to continue to be fun. And if it starts being a chore, or if it starts feeling like daily chores, well, then I might as well just go sweep the floors in my apartment or something, right? At least then I have clean floors. You know what I mean? Like, at least those are chores that got me somewhere. So there's a lot that happens in a lot of these games that we'll just have to see how it goes. I'll be interested to see if their updates start reflecting what the community starts asking them for, rather than what they just feel like doing. For example, there were literally 0 people clamoring for them to put Ghostbusters into the game. 0. Literally 0. Did I mention the fact that there were 0 people who were asking for them to put the Ghostbusters into the game? What was that all about? But we've got Ghostbusters now. So, great, I guess. People have been clamoring for space updates. People have been clamoring for more spooky characters, or to make them available. We actually really liked the updates on paper that we saw that they made to Willa and Basil and all that. Oh, I'm about to die. Interesting. We actually liked all of the updates that we saw on paper that they made for Basil and Willa and all of them. And we were like, cool, we're super excited about this. Then we went, oh, wait a minute, but we can't get any of them. So, thanks for the updates? Like, it would have been better if they just listened to their players. You know, they have a Discord community for a reason. People are putting their thoughts and opinions in there. You might as well give them some consideration, right? Okay, sorry, hold on a second. I want to make sure that I finish this one. So I know that you've got your Iggy in here and your Yuppie in here, but I'm actually going to come and grab an Aurora instead. Wait, I thought that there was a 7-star Aurora. Do we not have the 7-star Aurora in our guild anymore? Honestly, that wouldn't necessarily shock me. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Alright, well, I gotta go with this. But anyway, yeah, LEGO has a very, very robust, very opinionated community of players. They're constantly giving them their advice, their opinions, constantly telling them what they want, what they need. Wow, they killed Firefighter Ash without me even getting a turn. What a bunch of buttheads. Oh, goodness. All right, well, let's heal and speed everybody up, I guess. But before I get too far off of that topic, yeah, they have this community of players that is willing to exert opinions, that is willing to actually say, okay, here's what I want, here's what I think you should do, here's a suggestion for you. All they have to do is listen and respond. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they should actually cave to what everybody wants, because a lot of times what people want is irresponsible. If you make the game too easy or give people too many things for free, then it loses its challenge and people stop playing, right? They have to maintain the game's challenge. They have to maintain the fact that not everything is free, that you do have to work for something. So everybody who's constantly asking to increase the rewards of this or give us more rewards for that, unfortunately, they can't just agree to all that stuff willy-nilly, because that that would just break everything. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, yay, I've got everything. Now what do I do? And the answer is nothing. There's nothing for you to do because you've gotten everything for free. So there is definitely this balance that they need to take of listening to their players, giving their players enough of what the players tell you that they want in order to make it clear that you are listening and responding accordingly, while simultaneously curbing the urges of your players who are going to lead to an imbalance in the force, as it were. Making everything too powerful, or making everything too easy, making everything too free. That is... It's like being a parent in many ways, right? You want your kids to have everything that they want. But you also know if you give them everything for free and they never have to work for it, then they're going to grow up believing that the world is the kind of place where you just get everything for free and you never have to work for it. And I don't know about you guys, but that's just not how the world works. You've got to put in some effort. You've got to put in some time. And it makes you appreciate the things that you accomplish more. You know? So, there were a lot of thoughts and feelings in there, weren't there? I don't think any of y'all asked for it. I think you just came here to watch a Lego stream. See if I could finish up the Brickspedition with one team, which I didn't do because they smashed my pirates among the rocks of Redbeard, so to speak. And apparently, I had to sound kind of southern when I said it. And I'd do it again. Grits. Shrimp. Rodeo. Cowboy. I know I'm just being ludicrous right now, but I actually am originally from Texas, so I know a lot of these people in real life. Anyway, oh my goodness, look, I don't actually have all that many people who have the tags for today. We actually are going to have to go deep into a roster to see if we can get this full 600,000. There it is. Got it. What are we at now? Tomorrow. All foes inflicted with max health down 1 for 2 turns. All tank foes lose 20% defense for the entire battle. That'll be nice. All foes are inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns. Yes! Amazing! Bring on all of the Scarlet teams tomorrow. I will fight all of them because Scarlet cannot taunt and you can smash whoever you want. This is an important thing for you guys to remember in your Brickspeditions. If you ever get the opportunity to max out and have all foes inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns, get it and change the way you fight all the teams the following day. Buff immunity is huge, especially for the characters whose AI makes them taunt right off the bat because they can't have it, or any Scarlet team out there who, without her auto taunt, is just, you know, stick in the mud. Oh man. Woof. You have Aurora in real life, Tio? Very nice. What set does Aurora come with, actually? The Ice Glider, I would imagine. But what world is she actually a part of? She's part of the city team? Strange. I always think it's strange that she's a city character. All right, hold on a second. We got to come into the arena and duke it out with someone else. Who should it be? This is interesting. I'm going to try this team here, 54. We've got a Lloyd who's going to put everybody into stealth right away, but without triggering any of Redbeard's counters. They also have Reed, who's going to trigger exactly 0 of Redbeard's counters. So this is interesting. This is either going to be a very dangerous team because it's impossible for me to target any of the real damage dealing characters from the beginning, or because they dodged Argenta's opening attack. So, you know, hooray dodge. Or this is going to be a very easy team because there's a pretty big lack of synergy on said team. But let's see. We are going to avoid using Argenta's cannon right from the beginning only because we want to avoid the counters. Now, I know that I've got at least a couple of turns before Lloyd taunts again and puts everybody into stealth. I've got, what, 1 free turn, maybe 2. So I think I'm going to take that opportunity to actually target Reed first. Oh, but, you know, Reed dodged. So that's, what, the second dodge? so far. So that's great. Cool. Third dodge so far. There's another dodge. Fourth dodge. Alrighty. Wow. So here's the thing. If we end up losing this battle, it's going to be 100% because the computer decided to make us lose, right? Because that's what dodge is. It's a random number generator that just forces you to miss and waste a turn. So we've got 4 dodges running so far. Now that Redbeard is out, it is unlikely that we will lose even if Lloyd gets his effective stealth taunt off because of all the extra stuff going around. Great. So we are still going to win this battle. That will be excellent. We can auto battle it from here on out. Oh, that's a 5th dodge. Hey, all right. How many rounds of battle have there been? And I got 5 dodges against me, and I have dodged 0 attacks so far. What is that? Come on, man. Take out the dodge, guys. If you're worried about it, buff up their defense, buff up their hit points, but take the dodge out. Who's winning? Who is this helping? You know, it's just a frustrating mechanic. Get it out of there. 3 strikes, you're out. That's how I feel about that mechanic. Okay, so got a few more minutes left here. And I want to talk about something that I actually meant to talk about yesterday. You dodge, read, stun, and also Floyd. You dodge, read, stun, and also FL increases dodge percent. Okay, cool. So I did get 1 dodge in there. But the increase to dodge percent is doofy because it causes you to waste your turn. It is a pain in the butt. It'd be more effective if they just gave people a chance to get the clumsy debuff or a chance to get the dodgy debuff. And then you could mentally prepare ahead of time that you're going to not be able to hit a particular character. It would feel significantly less jarring, and it would be significantly less upsetting when it happens because you can plan for it instead of wasting your ultimate ability when you only get 1 shot at it anyway every 5 turns or whatever it is. Just beef up the characters if you have to make them withstand more. Dodge mechanic is terrible. Forbidden Island is a 15% increase to dodge on its last upgrade. Great. I use the Forbidden Island, and I'm still a big fan of just get rid of the dodge ability. It's ridiculous. Oh yeah, I had completely stopped upgrading it too, because I was spending all of my upgrade mats on the fire station. Anyway, got one to pull on for you. So, you guys know that I've been leveling up that fire station, testing it out, trying to see if it's relevant. Ooh, I also have 2.5 million coins. Squirrel! Apparently. Which means I have enough money to upgrade a couple of characters while still maintaining the 1.5 million Lego coins that I'm going to need to level up Redbeard when he gets there. So, I do actually need to level up my castle team. I need to level up Explorer Aurora, my businessman Trent, my fitness instructor maybe. I don't know. You guys will see. But for sure I know I need to upgrade my Barnabas. So we're going to spend 500,000 here. And I'm going to spend another 500,000 to upgrade Magisto to 5 stars so that I've got them ready to go. Maintaining that 1.5 million so that I can spend it on Captain Redbeard when he gets there. Now, here's what I want to talk to you guys about. I have this idea for another team, and I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be viable. I'm not entirely sure which kind of team to go with, but tell me what you think of this. So, if we check out the Guarded Inn, let's look at it at its most upgraded level. Whenever a castle hero gains taunt, so castle heroes that can gain taunt if you have the king, Brutus, is basically anybody that King Brutus puts taunt on. But without Brutus, you still have Barnabas, you still have Jester Gogo, and you still have, oh my goodness, what is her name? The knight. The female knight with the catapult. I'm blanking on her name right now. But anyway, you've still got those 3 characters. Anytime they gain taunt, they gain grit up, and each hero gains 1 stack of heal over time. Cool. You also have, whenever a hero gains defense up, they also gain attack up for 2 turns. Princess Storm, thank you. And then, they also have, at the end of a hero's turn, a chance to gain payback, with castle tank heroes actually having a 40% chance to gain payback. So, put all this together, right? Every turn, heroes have a chance to gain payback. Tanks, castle tanks, have a 40% chance to gain payback. Defense up gives attack up. And every time a castle hero gains taunt, they put heal over time for 2 turns on another player. So, what would a team look like if you had Go Busto, right? So you've got Master Burnibus, Magisto, and Jester Gogo. So anytime someone hits Jester Gogo, there's 50% chance to heal someone else on your team. Cool. In addition, if Jester Gogo gains taunt, everyone gets a hot. If Burnibus taunts, everyone gets a hot. He's already got his increased chance to counter, and Magisto, whenever a target counters, as long as he's alive, they will heal. So let's take those 3 characters, right? Add Princess Storm, who I don't even have unlocked, into that list. Let's add Princess Storm into that. She is technically an attacker, which is interesting, right? Because she can taunt, but she is a castle character. So if we add Storm into that with a 120% damage to the target foe and gain courage, we also have her catapult, which just does a bunch of damage. We'll have her gaining taunt and defense up. So if you put her in the guarded inn, then that means she gains taunt, defense up, and attack up, because the defense up would give her attack up. And then whenever she is damaged while taunting, she has a chance to increase her courage, right? Let's say we make her the 4th character. Then what would happen if we threw in either the hiker, who has a chance on each of his turns to grant defense up to whoever has the lowest health, which in this case would basically grant defense up and attack up to the character? Or do we have enough heals already that maybe we put the fitness instructor on this team, because her basic has a 50% chance to give defense up to somebody, meaning they'll get defense up and attack up. She can just give attack up to everyone. If they're already full on health, they also get crit chance up. Which, remember, if they also have counter, they have an increased chance to crit on those counters as well. And then, additionally, she can heal a little bit and grant max health up to a target hero and then heal everybody else. Would this team have enough survivability with essentially 3 characters who can taunt and the kind of like automated healing that's happening if Jester Gogo takes damage or if they counterattack? Are there enough heals to keep them alive, but is there enough damage output being done that this team could actually be viable? You're going to put all of these tanky characters in there, right? Jester Gogo with that very high health, Burnibus with the decent health and defense, plus all of the counter damage. I wonder if that would actually be a viable team. Do any of you actually have all of those characters up at a level where you might be willing to test that out and find out? Another option, because you're using Magisto and 3 castle characters, would Magisto's tower actually be a good way to go? Because it would actually prevent people from death and allow them to do bonus damage, especially if they are getting enough of those counters from Magisto. But I guess you lose some of the counters because of the guarded inn. But then, let's see. Then Magisto's tower gives you another chance to gain counter if you have your stacks of enchantment. Every time a magical hero uses a special ability, they have a chance to gain enchantment and give enchantment to other people, which means if you were going to use this one, do you have Basil? Could you switch Basil out onto one of these teams? Because remember, he's also a castle tank. Do you have Willa? Would Willa be a good addition to this team with Magisto's Tower? Or what about Vankman? Because remember, Vankman is a magical character. Vankman is pretty fast, and he does a lot of damage, and he can have your allies assist. Plus, the enchantment means that they basically don't die. They gain hardy instead. So, is there a world in which Magisto's Tower is actually meta? And what does that team look like? Those are all of the questions that are now pooling around in my brain. And which is why you will notice when I go shopping in the guild store, I'm starting to farm Princess Storm's tiles. I'm going to level her up a little bit, give her some shots, especially also in the fire station because she generates her own courage. A lot of it, actually. Minor Clay right now, you guys have seen me play around with him. The problem with having Minor Clay on the team is it nerfs the damage of the team. And while Grit is a relatively lackluster stat for us to be looking at, it's very hard to actually put him on a team to try out. What I have noticed experimentally is that using Iggy, or using Theo's Iggy for the actual Grit up buff seems to do better than using Minor Clay, who gives just the static 15% Grit bonus for the entire time. And that's because, obviously, Iggy's Grit up buff is bigger than that 15%. But there's the theory crafting that I have for you guys right now today. Go ahead and give it some thought, run it around in your brain. Let me know how it makes you feel. Until then, I'm going to have to leave you guys for the rest of the day. I've got to go back to my job and make some advertising for some people who have a lot of money. Really, that's basically what I do. Oh, you've got a bunch of money to pay for digital advertising? I can make it for you, and I'm going to do it. No, it is actually a very, very good job, and I like the people that I work with, so that's always great. The next time I see you guys will be Saturday, and I will be at my fiance's parents' house out in the woods. So you will be seeing a different backdrop. The lighting might be a little bit different in there, but I will be experimenting a bit just to make sure that you can still see my lovely, lovely face. Until then, enjoy the Q&A, guys. 2 p.m. I will be there. Who knows if I'll be asking any questions. Depends on whether or not you guys have already asked the questions that I want the answers to. But I'll make sure to make my voice heard if it's necessary. If it's nice where you are, go outside. Do something nice. Go volunteer at a food pantry. Or spend your day building houses for the homeless or something. I don't know. Call one of your friends. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Or just write a nice card to your partner and tell him or her that you love them and that the world's a better place because they're in it. They'll appreciate it. I promise. All right, guys. I will talk at y'all later.